Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal. And today we're doing Breaking Down and Pulling Apart, the series where we take a song, we break it down, we pull it apart into 1 minute sections. We've all gone away and watched the video in full. We've made 1 minute commentary notes for ourselves to talk about. And then we kind of break it down for you and what we thought about it. So today's band is SOULFLY and the song is Prophecy, came out in 2003. Now, SOULFLY is the band that was formed by Max Cavalera when he left or departed Sepultura. It was done in 1997. So, and he left Sepultura in 1996 after the Roots, the Roots album. Since then, they have released 12 albums. This is SOULFLY I'm talking about. Their first album that they did after when they first kind of get before Prophecy and so forth, or the album that this came off of, was very new metal. I think he had the song was it Choke that had Fred Durst on it, and that was very much leading into that vibe. Interesting one for me on this particular one. So this had on this album this came off of, and you'll see it in the video if you didn't already pick it up, had Dave Ellefson from Megadeth in it. Because I remember watching the video to this and going, is that fucking Dave Ellefson playing bass on this song? I remember that at the time. Oh, shit, what's going on there? And then it had Marco Rizzo from who was formerly of Il Nino, and a guy called Joe Nunez from a band called Chicago. And I don't think it's unless it is, it's the classic 60s, 70s band Chicago, but I think it's probably a different band. He's quite a young guy for that. So that is that particular one. But what was interesting for SOULFLY is he says that he gets a different lineup for every album because he wants different vibes, different styles, which is really interesting when you start to break this particular song down, that he wants it for different vibes and different styles. Yeah, let's play the first minute of this song, and then we'll give you our first thoughts on it. So this is minute 0 to minute 1 of Prophecy. Okay, so kicking off as always, we get this ominous kind of lead new metal-esque that we kind of expect from the new metal genre. But he also did it a lot within Sepultura, this lead build-up. So it's not just something. I'm not sure. Was it Biotech is Godzilla? I think he did.
Propaganda does something.
Propaganda as well, yeah. So he's got this kind of vibe on it as well. But rhythmically, this first minute, the first thing I thought as soon as I heard it, and actually, if you take the guitar parts out of this, it's Roots, Bloody Roots. The bass line and the drums is Roots, Bloody Roots. You can sing Roots, Bloody Roots, dun 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 dun. The bass line, like, it is the fucking song. So I love the idea that he says he brings new musicians in on each album to explore different vibes and different styles. You just played 1996's Roots, Bloody Roots and called it Prophecy. You just changed the fucking lyric vocal line and just called it a different song. That was my first impression of it anyway. But Andy.
I've got to put in context my thoughts on Max Cavalera and SOULFLY at this time. I'm absolutely shocked they've done 12 albums, though. I had no idea he was that prolific, to be honest. I absolutely love early Sepultura. Wasn't quite so keen on the latter albums, and certainly don't like Roots because he is going toward in that more sort of. I've got industrial for the opening part of this track. It's more industrial to me, but it is, a tiny step away from Roots, Bloody Roots. That particular song. I couldn't tell you what else is on that album. That's because it's really the only song I know from it. But I was kind of very down on the guy because of his departure from Sepultura, mainly influenced by that woman he hooked up with, their manager. What's her name? Gloria.
Still
Yeah.
married to this day.
Yeah. So her, she had a big influence on the separation of the band. The band had enough when he couldn't attend a gig or had to shoot off because of his stepson, her son dying in a car crash or something. So I'm kind of a bit down on Max Clever at this point as well. And we've also got the curse of the crappy band name.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, Dave. It's two one-syllable words put together that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Is it your soul flying? Is it a fly that's got the characteristics of a soul? Both are absolutely shit, and I don't like the word SOULFLY, so I'm not going to get into the van, and I'm not liking Max Cavalier at this point because of what's been going on in his personal life and his separation from Sepultura. And this song hasn't really changed my view on that at all.
No.
But yeah, the opening minute or so is just very minimalistic, sort of industrial, Castaway riff from the Roots sessions.
So,
but I do love the location. The location is absolutely
that's cool. Yeah.
Utah, Navajo Indian Reservation. It is absolutely spectacular. The scenes that you can see.
In relation to the Gloria element, from what I remember of the time, I probably will get this wrong. So please let us comment in the comments below the detail behind it. But
and they will, Dave. They will.
They will, which is always useful. It helps put me right. Because they had a management company, but then Max brought in Gloria to manage his side of things initially. So she was basically his manager. The band had other management as well that were managing some of the aspects. Then Max wanted Gloria to take over the whole band's management. So she did. She took over the management of the whole of Sepultura, but she kept prioritizing what was right for Max rather over the whole of the band.
And
the band were getting into this point where they felt that it wasn't a band focus, it was Max. And so they then came back to him and said, we don't want Gloria to manage Sepultura anymore. And he felt a betrayal on that. And then obviously when Dana passed away, he had to leave. And that was at one of the Download festivals or equivalent of Download, Monsters of Rock. And they played a show with guest vocalists. Andreas sang most of the vocals on it. On that particular, I remember I was at the show and it was fucking good. He just came out because he was like, they apologized that Max had to leave and couldn't be there, but he came out and he did all the Roots, bloody Roots, and all that sort of stuff. So it was great that they did it, but there was just too much that. And when they insisted that Gloria needed to be fired as the manager, he felt such a betrayal and what had happened there that he then felt that he couldn't work with the band anymore and left. That's what my understanding. I could have got that wrong, but I think it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen other truths in that. There's some elements of that, but I do remember the management bit being something that was a big issue for them. Okay, Kirk, sorry, I before you had a chance to talk about the first minute there.
Yeah, this is a low point of Max's career. He's lost all credibility, certainly in underground metal, like Terrorizer magazine. They used to love Sepultura. By this point, they're ashamed of Soulfly, and I was the same. This is shit. I've got to be honest. I do like the siren effect at the beginning. It actually reminds you of Pitch Shifter, but they did it a lot better than Soulfly can do. The bass line and drum beat I've written down identical to Roots, Bloody Roots. We've all agreed on that. And I always remember the absurdity of this video of that twat of a guitar player wearing a backpack. It just annoyed me.
Oh, he loves to do is jumping around on stage.
I just remember looking at this thinking, Max, why are you surrounding yourself with musicians who just can't play their instruments, And he's in his new metal era. This is the low point. But I've got to say, from 2015 onwards, Soulfly are fucking brilliant now. I remember buying that Archangel album in 2015. I bought the one Totem from 2022. I love that as well. So he's gone back into like death metal and thrash and this guitar solos and progressive elements. It's just a sellout. This is crap with a capital C.
Okay, well, let's play you minutes 1 to minute 2 for you at home.
Now to the devastation. I'm with the prophets on the mission of
Okay, so for here, I mean, this is just cemented it for me. So we got the vocal delivery here from Max. It's classic Roots Chaos AD era vocal. It's just him barking it. There's none of that venom that he had on the earlier albums, like Beneath the Remains of Rise, with that aggression that he had on theirs. This is just basic fun jump around tracks, pander into the new metal crowd. Basically, it's something that he's trying to relive with this, the Roots Bloody Roots vibe, because he still remembers at this point, he's still having to play songs, he's still having to play SOULFLY live, and he still has to play Roots Bloody Roots at every SOULFLY show because that's what everyone's waiting for him to play the chaos. They're not waiting for him to play SOULFLY numbers, they're waiting for him to play Sepultura tracks. And Roots Bloody Roots was always one, and he still to this day has to because he can't get away. I reckon he was doing Prophecy with the idea that if I get Prophecy and it blows up, then I don't have to do Roots Bloody Roots anymore because I've got this, which is basically the same. It's the same riff, it's the same backing structure, it's just got a different chorus. Unfortunately, the chorus isn't actually as hooky as Roots Bloody Roots. There is a little bit of a mid breakdown at 1 minute 40. It's obvious. And it's what surprised me is that 1 minute 40, we'd already had 2 verses and 2 choruses. I'm like, how can you be just over a minute and a half into a song and you've already knocked out? You're in a midsection at this point. What the fuck? That means there's nothing to this track at this point. There's not really much going on with it. I mean, I was watching the guys playing, and you can see Dave Ellison, and he's literally just one note in it. It's open and second fret, I think. He's like, duh, and they're just like, yeah, I can just do this. There's nothing for them to do. What an easy payday. Turn up, stand on a mountain, and just basically do that. You're never going to be told that you're not in sync with the video because you're such a basic riff. There's nothing for you to do. Although we could point out that if you're going to pretend you're playing your instruments, where's your amps? Where's your cables? Where's your monitors and your microphone? Okay, you don't have to do that on a mountain, but okay. Andy, thoughts on this next minute?
I'm really surprised that he doesn't have to play Roots Bloody Roots at a SOULFLY show. He chooses to, and I can't believe he'll go to a SOULFLY show for Max's collection of wannabes to play that song. But
they do. They do. Roots Bloody Roots is almost always the closer for their shows.
I guess it's like nobody wants to go to a Paul Di'Anno show. Rest in peace for his solo stuff. They want to hear Remember Tomorrow and Killers and all that. So I kind of get that. No, you refer to it as the pitch shifter sound on the riff. I put it down like it's a Prodigy sort of whine.
Yeah.
Guitars, and I didn't like that at all. I don't know what that's all about. I prefer, not that I'm blown away with it, but this sort of simple Sepultura-esque, sort of industrial, I call it industrial kind of simple riffing. The vocal delivery, Dave, you demonstrated it earlier. Very, very simple. He's not Kirk, like you said, low point. Yeah, he's not putting any creative effort into this song musically or vocally. He's just kind of almost just fulfilling an obligation to do a follow-up album from, sorry, is this from the debut album?
Album number 3, this one.
All right. Yeah, just, contractually obliged SOULFLY album. Let's write some Sepultura-esque songs with a bit of a Prodigy's pitch shifter influence as well. But I'm like I say, this will not change my mind on this.
It's not going to sell you on them.
I might be interested in the latter stuff that you've referred to, Kirk, if they return to form and there's sort of classic sort of death and thrash elements in it. But this is poor. Yeah.
Yeah, the last 3 albums are excellent, but this, when you listen to it, first of all, can you even call it a riff, that noise effect on the guitar? I think Max's vocals, I've always liked them, even here, even though it's just deadpan, him shouting, the articulations of a high standard, you can make out the lyrics and it's still really aggressive. And we do finally get a palm muted riff at 1 minute and 48. But let's not forget, Sepultura are in a horrendous place at this time as well. They're putting out that album Roarback, which is utter shite. That's the low point of their career as well. And yeah, as a reader of Terrorizer magazine at the time, and you'd go back and they'd do the top 100 albums of the 90s, and you'd have Chaos AD in there, you'd have Arise. Clearly they hated Roots as well. But you couldn't see a way out for Max at this time. So it's great to see how, with other bands like Go Ahead and Die that he's in with his son, and then Killer Be Killed with Greg and Troy from Mastodon, Greg from Dillinger. So he did come out of this rut, but we just seem to repeating the same thing. This song is so poor. It's just a sellout. He's chasing trends at this time, isn't he? And this is a guy who helped to invent, the hybrid of death metal and thrash metal. He brought hardcore into thrash metal. Groove metal, 1993, they were doing that, along with Pantera and Prong. So they were always pioneers. And then at this time, he's just fucking chasing whatever is popular, isn't he, in the metal scene? I mean, come on, he's even got members of Il Nino in his band. They're not good enough to be in this band. They don't have the musicianship.
The thing was, if you were saying Il Nino wrote some great tracks, but they were a cohesion of multiple instruments that brought in their percussionists, so they were able to bring those layers in. But I do agree, yeah, it doesn't really work. But let's play the last minute and 23 seconds for you at home, and then we can summarize our overall thoughts.
Going nowhere, that new exodus, just like they say. I see the corner, thought you know I was there. This is the prophecy. This is the prophecy. I see the time in this Armageddon. I see the flight of the conquering lion that must reach the mountains of Zion. I'm with the prophets and the prophecy goes on. This is the prophecy. This is the prophecy.
Okay, so over this section, the most interesting part for me is the drums. There is a nice guitar part coming in, but frustratingly for me, the best part of this song is from about 2 minutes 59 to the end. We get these battering drum sections, more aggressive delivery, and should have used it more throughout the song. It could have broken the track up. That could have been, it would have made the song a little bit longer. But I think by bringing that bit at the end into earlier parts of the song to break the song up like a mid, or it would have made the song feel just a bit better overall. I mean, I know Roots as an album is not a big favorite for a lot of the earlier Sepultura fans, but you've got to admit, from a point of trying to be creative, it was a very creative album in the sense of what they attempted. Unsuccessfully in some cases, but when you take it from a piece of art and go, they went out and they recorded it with the tribes and they brought this instrumentation in and they did something very different to what was, if you look at like literally Chaos AD and then Roots and you go, well, these are chalk and cheese as far as what these albums are doing next to each other. So that he did go off in a bit of a tangent and was very creative, whether it works or not. Here, we have what is effectively, it's an instantly catchy song. So it's very easy to bop your head to and kind of, this is a prophecy. Yeah. But instantly, as soon as it's gone, you're on to the next track. You're not sitting there going, God, that was so good, I've got to play it again. It's a forgettable track. But when it's on, it's easy to bop your head to. There's nothing wrong with it in that. But you're not going to use this as something you're going to say, oh, you want to hear good songwriting? Check out Prophecy by Soulfly. Absolutely phenomenal songwriting parts. Listen to the different sections, the bass part. Listen to how the drums are working. You're never going to do that. This, again, is another song where if he took more than 30 minutes to write this song, I'd be fucking surprised. Andy?
Yeah, agree with a lot of you said. That there's this sort of more introduction of Roots era tribal instrumentation, but the sort of 3 minutes to the end is, I've noted down, is like a heavier breakdown section, which I agree should have been implemented earlier on and more. So that is the only sort of positive I can take from the song. But yeah, it's okay, but you're not going to put it on again. You're not going to direct anybody to this. And I'll say it again, I'm unless I catch one of these later tracks that Kirk's preferred to, I'm not going to give Soulfly another listen unless we have to on this channel.
Unless we have to. I love that. Unless Dave makes me do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll gladly do it if it comes up again, but I'm not going to go through choice. Search out Soulfly on any of the channels, or if I come across a CD, it'll be instantly sold on. Put it that way.
Okay. Kirk, wrap it up for us.
And of course, there's no solo because this is a new metal band in 2004, and Max has to wait for the new wave of American heavy metal and metalcore and all these genres that bring it back. And Rob Flynn, to be fair, was chasing trends. And when you get the rise of In Flames and these bands who are playing traditional metal again and shredding, that helps Max rediscover his love for guitar, as it did with Rob Flynn. The down-tuned thrash metal at the end. So I'm going to guess that they've tuned down to B, so every string has been drop-tuned by 2.5 steps. Absolutely does not work when you're doing those open string triplets on guitar. It's too low to get that James Hetfield, razor sharp Tommy Victor type crunch to it. And again, listen to the snare sound. So he's doing double timing at the end, and they're using that hip hop snare sound of the 90s, which bands started to incorporate, with Korn and Primus. Like, it just doesn't work here. So there's really nothing I like about this song. And I'm just going to repeat, no, it's irrational. I cannot stand that there's a guitar player with a backpack on. It just pisses me off. It's irrational. I don't know why that annoys me.
Well, what's in his backpack? Is it spare batteries? Is it his packed lunch? What is it?
Why are you doing? And then the way he's jumping around, it's like, look, we know we're not going to get a guitar solo out of you. You're not doing anything flamboyant. So stand the fuck where you are and don't move.
And then on that bombshell of stand the fuck where you are and don't move from Kirk. That's it for this episode. So that was Soulfly and Prophecy. If you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.